What's going on, guys? It's Harrison here, and this is the first video on my lecture channel. So I'm a recent master's graduate from Coding University. I've technically not graduated yet, but I finished my degree as of a week and a half ago. And during my time at Curtin, like, a lot of students have asked me for help. How do I do things? How do I like make my stuff like look cool? And since I'm no longer there, I can't really like show them how to do that in person. So instead, I wanted to do more videos and content to show them how to do things and create guides to help them. So today we're doing like the portfolio guide. So portfolios are really important. They are how you get your jobs. They're how you get your internships and NCP trips if you're studying. They are how you do your final submissions usually for work, and it's sort of like how you get a job later on. A portfolio is a reflection of you. If it's well put together, nicely structured, people can have a good impression of you and think you know what you're doing. If it's sort of just like thrown together with bits and pieces everywhere, not really consistent, people think you're going to be a mess. So it's a very important thing to make sure you control and figure out how much personality you want to inject and what you want to show. Portfolios are very important as well, as if you just show like renders and stuff, they're going to hire you to be a render person. That's all you're going to do. You're not going to be like a drafter, you're not going to work on other things, and it can sort of like lock you into a thing. So if you make sure you have like a good range of stuff. So the first thing you're going to do when you go to make a portfolio, in my opinion, is like get some inspiration, because you're already going to have like a lot of the work already done, like with the architecture projects you've done through uni, and you have to make small changes to them as you go. But you want to figure out like how you want to lay out your portfolio and have a good understanding of what that's going to look like from the end. So the first thing I like to do is open Pinterest like I've done here, search, go for portfolio, and just like go through like different examples. And when you find something like, let's say, I kind of like this one. It's got like a nice like landscape layout. There's like limited use of like color, but we use color to highlight certain things. And it's like easy to follow, there's a clear structure of it. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna continue to do this for like maybe like 5 or so minutes, just like scroll through, see what I find. Like, ooh, this one's like pretty much the same as that one. But like I want something like a little bit different. Let's find something more. Not this one. No. Very selective of what I want. Yeah, this one's a good example. Yeah, this one's cool. It's got like a range of like layouts, but still feels very similar. It uses different colors as well. Like, this is a cool one, so I'm gonna save that. And continue to do this for like 5-10 minutes. And then once you've done that, go through the ones you really like and figure out why they work. And then you're gonna start bringing that into InDesign to make your own portfolio. So now that you've done that, we can go into InDesign to start making our own portfolio. I'm not actually going to go through the process of making one step by step, just because that's a lot of stuff to do, and if there's demand for it, I will do it. But I've also got one I've made recently that I can just go for instead and talk about the flow and layout, how I've done it. So for mine, I want to do like an A3 like layout, or like, no, this one's A4, sorry. But I want to have it like landscape, as like A4 to me is just a nice like size to like hold. A3 feels way too big and it makes your text feel like really large. But A3 is just like very like, A4 landscape's very clean, and I like using landscape over portrait, as a lot of your drawings are going to be done in landscape. So it makes sense to like follow that with a portfolio, or else it's going to be kind of like shrunk and it's going to be like really awkward. So I like to keep following that. So start with like a cover page. So you can do like other things. You can like just have like one color. You don't have to have render, you can have drawings, but like I like doing this one, and the reason I like doing this is when someone opens this, they see this, like it's got a cool render, has my name and stuff, but on the back it sort of like continues that image, so it all opens up, and I like doing that sort of thing. I like having like the cover and the back page together, because they're nicer when you print them off, and they're cool to go through, and nice to see. Then for the next part, so this is actually like an optional thing, but you can have like contents and like a bit of like an about me and resume showing your experience. This isn't like necessary, but I think it's good to show like the contents page, just so I can follow like what's going on, skip to certain projects and like see what's in your thing. And the about me and resume is good, because if someone's gonna hire you like as an intern or like in industry, if they want cheap labor, they're just going to import it from overseas. So I think like showing a bit more of who you are, what your personality is like good, because then they can see you can contribute to the team, or if you'll like fit in like personality wise. So because of this, I think it's also really good to have an image of you in it, because when they go to review your portfolio, they're probably going to like look you up, they're going to see your face on LinkedIn. So why not just show them like who you are straight away, so they can like follow along with that. So here I just have like a bit more about me, what I'm doing, like just my experience. And here I just have it like laid out like this. It's a nice little like timeline, easy to follow. You can do like a bunch of different things to do it. And here I've just got like education stuff, like things I've completed, and like work and like other achievements I've done. So I think that's a good thing to do. Then for the actual projects. So in this thing I've only got I say only, I've got 6 projects, but like they're all laid out the same, but like there's some slight differences between them, and you'll see what I mean. So for the first project, I recommend having a project that is your favorite. So in previous versions, I've had my thesis project as the first one, but I know like when I'm talking about my project work in my portfolio, I'm more excited when I start talking about the terrace. So I'd rather start with that, because when you start talking about your work, if I'm like talking about thesis and like it's okay, like I enjoy it, but when I start talking about this, I'm more excited. It feels like really weird. So start off with one that to you is your favorite. What your favorite part about it is, because that's one you'll explain the best, and the one that should be like in your face. So here I've just got like follow this rule of thirds to lay things out. So this way all my work is very like consistent with this layout. You'll see in this part like it doesn't follow that rule of thirds, because that's not the project work. This is more just like the optional stuff like at the start to give more like a context about you. But here like the whole project follows this rule of thirds, as you'll see. So that's important to do. Then the next thing to do is like make sure you don't use too much text. So here I've only got it like just in this part for each project. So text is very limited, and it's not like in your face all the time. I think that's like really important to have, or else if they go through reading, they're not going to read through all the stuff you have. If you have like a bunch of text, like they're barely going to read this. So that's why I made sure they can see like the softwares I can use, what it was, and they see like what's going on. They don't have to read that much into it to understand what the project is and what I can do from it. With my drawings, so a lot of the drawings in the projects in my book, so like thesis, urban, like they're all done at different times with different like color sets. So one thing I like to do is like bring these images, like these files into like Photoshop or something, then edit them so they have like a certain color overlay, so they all feel the same. So this one I've used like yellow overlays for all of them, and they all like have a similar level of like warmth to it. And adding this like film grain texture as well, it makes all the styles feel really similar, so you can see it's like your work and everything flows really coherently, which is really important. But yeah, going back to like the actual like layout of this, like with this, you see like a project, I just have like the introduction, what's going on. Then I talk about like the thought process, like what I'm trying to do, what's going on, how it all goes together. Then you see like actual plans and like sections and like the detailed components in that. You sort of just see how my thinking works, how the structure goes together, and what the process was. So that's an important thing to do. So that's also the same in like thesis. So here I've got like my softwares, like my research question, thought process, and why I'm doing it. I start like with render. I have like another render just because I want to keep that consistent with these projects. Then I have like a little bit of text here, but here I have my thought process, like how did I choose my site, what's going on, what sort of like needs need to happen, what is the drive, what is the thought process behind my design, and that continues to the actual like design, like showing like what the response is, what it looks like, how it feels, then showing like more diagrams to represent that, just giving like more of that information. So that's like an important thing to do. And you'll see in these two projects shows different skills. So this is more like documentation, technical form, drawing, and more like housing projects, whereas this is more like urban projects, like more of that sort of style. The next project only goes across these 2 pages, and it's another urban project. So if I was to make changes to this portfolio, I'd probably like remove this one and do something else, because overlapping with like multiple urban stuff like doesn't make sense unless you want to do like more urban projects, which I do enjoy, but that's not what I'm trying to do right now. So that's why it's also important to have multiple versions of your portfolio depending on what sort of job you're applying to, which you can submit for different ones. But yeah, so this one I just go through list of softwares I'm doing, and I talk about like different parts. So this has a similar thing with all the like thought process on one page, showing like how I've done X, Y, Z, like what my train of thought is, then how it like is applied. So this one has like a cool diagram that's like showing how different parts like go together and how the project works overall. And then we have like the final parts with like some visualizations and also like the actual like final project. It sort of follows that clear like hierarchy. The next one is like some stuff I've done like in work and practice. So this is done in Singapore, and here I'm just showing off like sketch design. Like I know how to sketch, I can draw that stuff, but I can also like do documentation that you'll see like in firms and stuff. That way they can see I've got like the skill set for it. So even though like I've done it with these sort of projects, like I've used stuff from work, you can use other things as well. Like you can easily show like sketches in another drawing because it's important to show you a range of skills. And this you can show like within a documentation unit. Like you already have this stuff available to you, so don't worry about having stuff when you haven't done like work. You can definitely show like things that you've done. Then this one's just like showing off like other stuff as well. So this is more like, I'd say like a model making equivalent. Like this is for a working unit that I was running with a Chinese firm, and just showing like I have like other skills as well. Like I have hard skills as well. I can make things. I know how to use like machinery. I can do things. I know how things go together. So that's like a cool thing to do. Then the other one's like one from a Japanese firm. I don't have original images for it, so that's why it's kind of like lame and not as adjusted to the rest of them. But you sort of like get the idea across. It's very like consistent. I have this like rule of third structure that's in following the whole portfolio. Everything's wide. This one, that one should be lower. Hold up. Yeah, because I sort of just like imported this into Adobe because my computer's my original files have been corrupted. Okay, that's I need to fix that up. So I'm gonna need to do that later. But yeah, like make sure like everything's like consistent, easy to follow, and like don't do what I just did there. And if you send it off like that, it's not gonna look good. So I don't think I've done that, so that's good. But yeah, then I have like the final page at the end. But yeah, that's like the portfolio example I'm gonna give. So like things to keep in mind, like when making your own, is you need to make sure that like white space is your friend. Like a lot of my stuff, like even though like I've got like projects that like this one has like a lot of white space between things, so the individual drawings can breathe. There's like gaps between things, not everything's in your face. But even in this project, there's still space between things. There's still space here. Like you don't have to like crowd the page. Make sure there's white space. Make sure your drawings have time to like breathe and stand out, so people aren't overwhelmed. Use a grid system so you can follow that layout and consistency. So you can use like 3 columns like I've done, 2, maybe even 4, but 4 might be like a little bit squashed. So play around with it and figure out like what's best for you. That's what like the Pinterest is for, to figure out like examples and what you can do. I recommend setting up like a master page in InDesign, like using these and just setting it up so everything follows, and make sure that everything similarly to like your layout has similar like fonts with like size and style, so everything like reads the same and looks similar. Then going back to that I guess like that consistency, make sure your drawings are also consistent, so you have the same like drawing style across the board and like similar like colors, so it all like reads cohesive. So that marks the end of this guide for now. It's kind of like unstructured, just going through my stuff, and I like to do more of it. So maybe if people want, I could do a thing where people send in their own portfolio and I go through good reviews and see like how my brain thinks and like works to adjust these things. Or I could work on like, I talked about updating one of my complex projects to make it like a bit better and fix things up about it. Maybe I could go through the process of how I do that and make my visuals like pop up a bit more. So I guess let me know what sort of guides you want to do and how you want me to make this better, because this is very unscripted. I'm just like yapping right now and I think it's a bit hard to follow. So please let me know how I can improve, and thank you for watching. Bye.